Our mission is to give you like the Cliff's Notes version of what the critics are saying, what the audiences are feeling, and of course all the basic details.
Yeah.
So you can get a good feel for the movie before you even think about going to the theater.
Right, exactly.
We've gone through the synopsis, the critic reviews, and like all the early audience buzz that we can find.
Yeah, all for you.
All for you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the basics. Captain America, Brave New World, came out in theaters Valentine's Day 2025.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, February 14th.
A superhero movie for Valentine's Day.
I know, right? It makes you wonder.
Yeah, what are they going for?
A little bit, yeah.
It's 1 hour and 58 minutes. A pretty tight runtime.
Okay.
PG-13 rating. Pretty standard, intense action sequences, violence, and a little bit of strong language.
Right.
Genre is action, adventure, fantasy, so pretty typical.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we expect from these, right?
Yeah, exactly. The director is Julius Ona.
Okay.
And then for the cast, we have Anthony Mackie, of course, returning as Sam Wilson, now Captain America.
Yeah.
And then Harrison Ford is Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, which I think is a really interesting casting choice.
Yeah, that's going to turn some heads for sure.
Yeah. Tim Blake Nelson is Samuel Stearns.
Oh, cool. I like him.
Yeah, he's been in this universe before.
Right, right.
Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres.
Okay.
And then Giancarlo Esposito is Sidewinder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Big names.
yeah, a lot of talent in this one.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the story, according to the synopsis, Sam Wilson is, getting used to being Captain America. He has a meeting with the new U.S. President, Thaddeus Ross.
Okay.
But, as it always goes in these movies, there's an international incident,
Oh.
and Sam has to figure out what this nefarious global plot is all about.
Ooh, that's interesting. So it's not just like a small scale thing. It sounds really big.
Yeah, and it says that the mastermind behind this plot, their goal is to have the entire world seeing red.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful image.
I know, right?
What do you think that means? Like literally seeing red?
Oh,
Or
but I don't know.
Maybe it's more symbolic, like the whole world's in chaos?
Yeah, or maybe it's both,
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But let's get into what the critics thought, because this is where it gets really interesting.
Good.
So the tomatometer right now is sitting at 48%, which, pretty lukewarm.
Yeah.
Pretty divided, yeah. And the critics' consensus on Rotten Tomatoes says that Mackie's good as Captain America.
Oh, hi.
But the movie feels routine and overstuffed with uninteresting Easter eggs. And it's not really a worthy standalone adventure for the new Captain America.
Oh, wow. They're not pulling any punches.
No, they're not.
So it makes you wonder, is it getting hard for these like really long-running franchises
Yeah.
to find that balance between, giving fans what they want
Yeah.
and bringing something new?
Right, and making it like still fresh and exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a key point.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
they're trying to tie it into this bigger universe, but they also need to tell a good story,
Yeah.
that works on its own.
Right, right.
And I think this uninteresting Easter eggs comment suggests that maybe they focus too much on the connections
Right.
and not enough on the actual story,
Yeah.
which is a shame.
So let's see what some individual critics had to say.
Okay.
Mark Kermode from Kermode, and Mayo's take, he did not like it.
Oh, no.
He said it was absolutely impossible to get interested in it, and the writing was at its very, very best, functional.
Functional. That's not exactly a compliment
No.
for storytelling.
It sounds like he just wasn't engaged with the plot or the characters.
Right. Yeah. But, everybody's got their own opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Dwight Brown from dwightbrowning.com, he was a little more positive.
Okay.
He said that the action scenes pop up frequently enough to keep the most fidgety teen engaged.
All right. So the action was good.
Yeah, and he gave it a 3 out of 4.
Okay. Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Leonard Maltin had a really interesting take on it.
Oh, really?
He called Harrison Ford a not-so-secret weapon,
Okay.
and he went against the grain. He called it a 21st century tall tale,
Oh, wow.
and he even suggested that it might require 2 viewings to fully appreciate.
Really?
Yeah, so I wonder if he saw something that other people didn't.
Yeah, maybe there's like a deeper meaning or some subtle character development.
Yeah, or maybe the story unfolds in a way that you don't fully get the first time around.
Yeah, that's possible.
But then we have Nicholas Bell from Fish Jelly Films, and he was not a fan.
Okay.
He called the movie a non-entity with a deceptively nonsensical narrative.
Wow, so he thinks it's just all over the place.
Yeah, he said it was unclear what the film was trying to say beyond embracing strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
And he gave it a 1 out of 5.
Ouch.
Yeah, pretty harsh.
Yeah, it sounds like he thinks it doesn't really have like a clear message
Yeah, or purpose.
Right. And if the story is all over the place, it's easy to feel like
Yeah,
the movie's just a nothing burger.
exactly.
Exactly.
Valerie Calfrin at awfj.org. She also liked Mackie. She said he was charismatic, but she felt that the story sputters where it should soar.
Right. So, again, like a good actor stuck in a
Yeah.
not so great story.
Yeah, maybe it's trying to do too much with the MCU stuff and it's hurting the individual movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then finally, Damian Levy from DamonMichaelMovies.com, he was more positive.
Okay.
He said there's some frankly unforgettable action with a creative spin on a familiar actor. He rated it half price.
So, like a qualified recommendation.
Yeah, basically like if you can catch it on sale or something.
Yeah.
Go for it. So it seems like the action and Mackie are the good parts.
Yeah.
But the story is where it falls apart for a lot of the critics.
That makes sense.
All right, so now let's switch gears and see what the general audience thought.
All right.
So the popcorn meter, which is the audience score, is at 79%.
Oh, wow. So way higher than the critics.
Yeah, much more positive.
Interesting.
And the general consensus seems to be that it's a passable superhero enterprise.
Okay.
It delivers, good action, what you expect,
Right.
but not much more than that.
So, like, not amazing, but not terrible either.
Right, exactly. Why do you think there's such a difference between the critics and the audiences with these superhero movies?
Well, I think, like a lot of regular moviegoers, they're looking for, spectacle and familiar characters.
Yeah.
And just a fun time.
Right.
Whereas critics, they might be looking for something more,
Yeah.
like originality and deeper themes and, better writing.
Right. Yeah, they have different expectations. So let's look at some of these audience reviews. Jay gave it a 4 out of 5 and just said, good movie. Decent amount of action.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, seems like that's all he needed.
I mean, sometimes that's all you want, right?
Yeah.
Just some fun action and a good time.
Manny gave it a 3 out of 5 and said it felt like a Disney app series rolled into a movie.
Ooh, interesting.
Just meh for a superhero villain movie fan.
Yeah, I can see that, like, maybe it felt a little small scale compared to
Yeah.
the other big MCU movies.
Right, especially with all the streaming stuff now, it's like, where do you
Yeah.
draw the line?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is this really a big theatrical experience or just
Right.
another episode of a show?
Another audience member gave it 4 out of 5 and said it's a solid entry, but it suffers from not having a major place in the next big arc.
Oh, so they're already thinking about the future.
Yeah, and they still liked it. They said it was a good film with good action, but it's interesting how much the MCU is like one giant story now.
Right. It's not just individual movies anymore. It's
Yeah.
all connected.
Yeah.
So if a movie doesn't feel like it's moving that bigger story forward, some people might be disappointed.
Yeah, they might feel like it's not essential viewing.
Exactly.
Chris gave it a 4 out of 5 and said they were glad it wasn't a multiverse movie.
Oh, interesting.
Just pretty good.
I think some people are getting a little tired of the multiverse.
Yeah, it's been everywhere lately.
Right. So going back to basics might be a good thing.
Yeah.
For some people, at least.
Orlando Furt gave it a 5 out of 5
Wow.
and said it was a great way to tie up loose Marvel ends and help pave the way for the next step in the MCU.
Okay, so completely opposite view
Yeah,
on the connections.
they loved it.
Yeah, they think it's important for the overall story.
Yeah, and then finally, Jay Flowers also gave it 5 out of 5.
Nice.
They were surprised by how much they enjoyed it. They loved the plot twist,
Okay.
and they called it an action-packed classic.
So we've got everything from meh to classic.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the audience seems generally positive about it. The action is good, but some people think it's not as big or impactful as they hoped.
Yeah.
And some people are happy that it's not a multiverse movie.
Right.
While others like how it connects to the bigger MCU story.
Exactly. All right, so let's put all this together.
Okay.
From the synopsis, we know there's an international incident that starts everything off,
Right.
and Sam has to investigate this global plot.
Great.
And the big mystery is who's the mastermind and what does it mean for the world to see red?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It could be literal, like mind control or something, or
Right.
it could be symbolic, like global conflict or chaos.
Right, or even political manipulation, like
Yeah,
you said.
yeah.
It's really open to interpretation.
And then from the audience, we see that some people think it ties up loose ends in the MCU,
Yeah.
while others think it doesn't really have a place in the grand scheme of things.
It's interesting how different people interpret those connections.
Yeah, and some people were really happy it wasn't a multiverse movie.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's a bit of multiverse fatigue out there.
It's understandable.
So overall, we see that the action is a big plus.
Yeah, consistently praised.
But the story and the writing are what's dividing people.
Yeah, especially the critics.
And Harrison Ford's presence is definitely something people are talking about.
Yeah, I think he brings a lot of weight to the role.
Yeah.
Just his presence alone.
All right, so there you have it. That's our deep dive into Captain America,
Yeah.
Brave New World.
Yeah, we've covered all the essential details, the critic reviews, the audience
I'm up
reactions.
from the Rotten Tomatoes page.
Exactly. So now you have a good understanding of what to expect.
Yeah, so now you can decide if you want to see it for yourself.
Exactly.
And here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
We've seen that some people prioritize the action,
Right.
while others are more focused on the story.
Yeah.
And some people want deep MCU connections,
Right.
while others prefer a more standalone story.
Yeah, it's all about what you're looking for in a movie.
So think about what aspects of a Captain America story are most important to you.
That's a great question.
Yeah, and that might help you decide if this is a deep dive you want to take at the cinema.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.